expensive.
Expensive.
Rip-off.
Expensive.
Rip-off.
And given that, in the US, there's been a steady rise in college tuition over the past decade, it's almost guaranteed that college will continue to be expensive.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 69.2% of 2015 high school graduates enrolled in colleges or universities in the fall immediately following their graduation. Although this may have been an improvement from the 65.9% in 2014, that still meant 30.8% of 2015 high school graduates did not immediately receive a college education. That's over 1 million people in just 1 year that entered the world with no post-secondary school experience.
And for those who are fortunate enough to attend college, the problem of tuition has left millions in debt and struggling to balance school and finances.
College tuition is an issue that President Trump needs to address, and this is our message to Washington. For many high school seniors, college applications are a daunting process. Beyond the stress of standardized tests and perfecting resumes, money is a huge consideration.
Kind of to only schools that I could probably afford, or schools that I thought I could get a scholarship to.
Also, the problem is all the best colleges are also like the most expensive ones. Yeah. The ones you're not going to get like paid for being smart because like everybody else there is smart.
In many cases, the issue of tuition can be the deciding factor for applications or final commitments. Each year, students all across the country have to weigh their options and possibly have to turn down an offer from their dream school.
One year, a mother called and said, my son got a full ride to University of Maryland, but he also got into Princeton with no money. So what would you do?
In the U.S. as a whole, Americans currently owe almost $1.3 trillion in student loans.
Maybe they wanted to be teachers or maybe they wanted to be nurses, but have drastically shifted their career course because they have so much student debt.
Families have to pay not only for tuitions that can reach up to $50,000 per year, but also meal plans, housing, textbooks, laundry, transportation, activity fees, health services, and more.
There's just a finite amount of money to run the university, and when tuition drops, it has a huge impact on our ability to cover our expenses.
Also, if a student attends an unaccredited university, matters become even more complicated.
Trump University, has had some issues with that. They went out of business, and I think they had a settlement, to repay. I think it's about 25 million students who, didn't get degrees as they were promised and so forth. So I think you have to be very careful and make sure that, where you're attending either technical school or college, that it's accredited.
In addition, millions of potential college students entered directly into the workforce after high school because they believed it would not have been financially feasible to attend a post-secondary school. However, this option often harms rather than helps.
People who get a bachelor's degree on average will earn $1 million more during their lifetime than people who don't get a bachelor's degree. They live longer, they are healthier, and they're more likely to avoid addiction issues, criminal issues, and so forth. So basically, getting a degree and completing it is very likely to just give you a better quality of life.
By 2020, an estimated 2/3 of job openings will require some sort of post-secondary education or training. According to Paul Taylor, Executive Vice President of Special Projects at the Pew Research Center, it's now the rising cost of not going to college. So while going to college doesn't necessarily determine your future, it plays a huge role in shaping your path.
Moreover, the issue of college tuition results in a vicious cycle of unending inequality. Upper and middle class families in which parents have attended college are more likely to send their children to college as well. Despite the growing efforts to encourage low-income and first-generation students to enroll in post-secondary schools, an unforgivable gap exists. Only 9% of students from the lowest income quartile graduate with a bachelor's degree by age 24, compared to 77% in the top income quartile. Even when academic ability is considered, lower income students are far less likely to enroll in and complete college than their wealthier peers.
And so public education is a public good. It is supposed to be paid for, throughout the country by the taxpayers of the nation, but we have to use that money wisely, and we have to give it, as you just said, to the kids that are most in need. If someone wants to go to college, they should be able to go to college without having staggering debt.
Post-secondary schooling impacts not just millions of people, but generations. And right now, we believe the future of America should be on radar for Congress and our new president.
The cost of college tuition continues to rise. There has to be some sort of plan.
More education on exactly what you're getting into.
So, yes, I definitely think that, government should be involved in trying to create jobs, keeping the cost of, college tuition. And once again, we're just talking about the tuition. We're not talking about the other pieces of it, as well. I think it's probably about $11,000 in tuition in Maryland right now.
I mean, it's a tough one legislation-wise. There's lots of different routes they could go. You could do something where you get some sort of reduced tuition for doing well in college.
We already have a Department of Education, but I think the feds should consider, just kind of going back to what I said, creating incentives for corporations to contribute. So if they created tax incentives for the corporations to contribute to higher ed, I think that would be very, very helpful.
College tuition has been a hot topic for a while now, but not much seems to have been done. And we can change that. Let's start with Washington.